Welcome to the Deep Dive. We find fascinating sources, unpack them, and basically give you the inside track.
Making complex stuff accessible.
Exactly. And today, wow, we are tackling a story that's just huge, foundational, really, in Western thought. Adam and Eve.
Hard to get more foundational than that.
Right. The garden, that, forbidden fruit, the serpent, and this interpretation that shaped things for centuries. Original sin. Humanity inheriting guilt from this one act.
It's deeply embedded in theology, philosophy, even culture.
But what if that whole understanding is built on, well, a misunderstanding? What if the key isn't just theology, but the actual language used?
That's precisely where we're heading.
Our mission today is a linguistic deep dive, guided by this really fascinating Odam theory. We're talking potentially surprising facts, insights that might just challenge what you think you know.
It suggests a completely different way to read Adam, Eve, the apple, even the snake, all through the lens of language.
It's compelling, isn't it? Thinking of these old myths, not just as stories, but as complex containers of knowledge, linguistic, cultural.
Absolutely. And the traditional interpretation, as you said, hinges on this idea of inherent sinfulness, stemming largely from Eve taking the fruit. It's had a massive impact.
No kidding. On religious doctrine, societal views.
For millennia. But the Odam theory, developed by Mamoudzhan Kuchkarov, it presents a radical alternative.
Okay, tell us about Kuchkarov's work. What's the core idea?
Kuchkarov's research dives deep into ancient Turkic linguistic roots. And he posits something fundamental, that language isn't just a tool we came up with.
It's more than that.
Much more. He argues it's humanity's primary structuring force. It actually predates and grounds religious systems.
Whoa, language first.
That's the core claim. And specifically regarding Adam and Eve, the theory says the story isn't really about primordial sin, not originally.
So what is it about then?
It's presented as a linguistic allegory, a story encoding deep truths about language itself, which was later deliberately reshaped.
Reshaped? Why?
The theory argues it was turned into a doctrine of sinfulness for essentially socio-political control.
Control. How does that work?
By instilling guilt, spiritual insecurity. It makes populations easier to manage, more dependent on external authority for salvation or structure. It fundamentally reframes human nature.
Okay, that's a heavy idea. Control through narrative. Let's start breaking it down. The apple, probably the most famous fruit in history.
Right. The forbidden fruit. Symbol of temptation, disobedience, the fall. Eve takes it, serpent tempts her. That's the classic picture.
But Odam offers a twist here, a linguistic one.
A major one. It focuses on the word often translated as apple in Turkic languages. Olma, or alma.
Okay.
Get this. Olma has a dual meaning. It's the noun for apple, yes, but it's also the imperative command, do not take.
Wait, the same word means both apple and don't take. How?
It breaks down linguistically. Olam means take.
Right.
And ma is a suffix. It can indicate negation, do not, or it can signify a condition of offering. Yes. So olma holds both meanings simultaneously. Do not take, and also the offering condition of taking. It's nuanced.
Okay, my head's spinning slightly. Apple, don't take, offering condition. What does that imply about the tree itself?
Well, picture the tree, full of fruit, branches hanging down, almost like outstretched hands, right? The theory suggests the tree is already in a state of offering.
So the fruit is available, in a sense.
It is. Which completely reframes Eve's action. It's not necessarily a direct transgression against a hard thou shalt not. It becomes more like a premature taking.
Premature, like the timing was wrong.
Potentially. Or perhaps the conditions weren't met. And crucially, the sources behind this theory suggest her motivation might have been suppressed in later versions.
What motivation?
Something incredibly basic. Hunger. A fundamental human need. Not malicious rebellion, but need.
Hunger. So if Eve acted out of a basic need, maybe misunderstanding the timing or condition of the offering. It's totally different from deliberate sin.
Entirely different. It suggests a more, perhaps, innocent starting point for humanity. Less inherently flawed from the get-go.
Wow. So the apple isn't this symbol of pure sin. It becomes, what, a linguistic archetype?
Exactly. An archetype of offering, of timing, of conditions, and of basic human need. It's about how and when we interact with the world's offerings, not just a simple forbidden object.
Okay, that really shifts the perspective on Eve and the act itself. What about the other big player, the snake?
Ah, yes, the serpent. Traditionally, the villain, the devil in disguise, the tempter, pure evil leading Eve astray.
That's how it's usually painted, definitely.
But if we step outside that specific theological frame for a moment, the snake has a much older, richer history and symbolism.
Like what?
Think about wisdom, medicine, knowledge. The rod of Asclepius, the snake coiled around a staff, is still a symbol of healing today.
That's true. I've seen that.
Across many ancient cultures, snakes were revered. Their shedding of skin symbolized transformation, renewal, deep wisdom. They represented cycles.
So not just evil, but transformation and wisdom.
And think about the snake's nature. Coiling, transforming. It embodies duality, doesn't it?
I'll say.
Knowledge itself is dual. It can heal like medicine, or it can destroy like, the knowledge used in warfare. It has immense potential for both good and ill. That's part of wisdom, understanding that duality.
Okay, I see that. It's not just a tempter. It's a symbol of powerful, potentially dangerous, but also potentially healing knowledge. Does the language support this too? Like with Olma?
It does, fascinatingly. Yeah. Let's look at the Uzbek word for snake.
Elon.
Elon, okay.
We can break it down. The I sound. Some say it even visually resembles a curved snake. Linguistically, it signifies inside or inner.
Inside, got it.
The L sound often indicates location or placement. Think locate.
Makes sense.
And on is a preposition, meaning on or upon.
So I-L, on, inside, location, upon. How does that connect?
Put it together. Ion could be understood as that which is located inside.
Located inside, like knowledge within us. Precisely. Knowledge coiled within the human being, something inherent, maybe passed down, not just an external thing you pick up. It stays with you, unlike material possessions.
That's a powerful image, knowledge coiled inside. And how does Shaitan, the word for devil, fit in? Is it related?
The theory argues it is, deeply. Look at Shaitan.
Okay.
The shush sound. It echoes the hiss of a snake, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
I often relates to sight, vision, appearance, what you see.
Right.
T can stand for the body, the physical form.
Body, okay.
And on, again, position, upon.
Shh. IT on, hiss, sight, body, upon.
So Shaitan could be interpreted as that which appears like a snake upon the body.
Appears like a snake upon the body.
Yeah.
Like knowledge is entwined with our very being.
Exactly. Think of that classic image, the snake wrapped around the tree trunk in the garden story. It perfectly illustrates this idea, knowledge entwined with life itself, visible, part of our existence.
So if the snake originally symbolized this deep, internal, dual-edged knowledge, what happened? Why did it become just?
Well, the argument is that later theological traditions actively suppressed the positive side. The wisdom, the transformation.
Why would they do that?
If you want to control people by framing the pursuit of certain knowledge as dangerous or sinful, you demonize the symbol. Portraying knowledge only as temptation, as evil, discourages questioning, curiosity, the very things that lead to independent understanding.
It stifles the quest for knowledge itself.
Exactly. Imagine the impact on a society when you teach that seeking certain understanding is inherently bad. So the snake, in this view, isn't just evil, it's the archetype of knowledge, wisdom, and that crucial dual potential. Much more complex.
This reframing is significant. Apple as offering and timing. Snake is inherent knowledge. What about Adam and Eve themselves? Traditionally, they're the original sinners, the source of our guilt.
Right. Inherently flawed, passing that flaw down. But again, Odam Tilly looks at the language, specifically Turkic usage. Odam, which is Adam. It's not just a name. It's used as a term of great honor, distinction. It directly links human identity back to Adam as the primordial ancestor, but with the sense of dignity, of profound origin.
So Odam implies honor, not guilt.
That's the implication. And there's more. Get this. In Turkic languages, the word man.
M-A-N.
Yes. It literally means I. It is the first-person pronoun.
Seriously. Not just male human, but I.
Correct. Which is unique. In many other languages, man is restricted to gender. Here, it's the core of self-identity. I.
So linking Adam, Odam, honor, and man, I. What does that suggest about Adam's original role?
It underscores Adam not as a figure of primordial guilt, but as a linguistic archetype of selfhood itself, of honor, of identity, of the fundamental I. It speaks volumes about how humanity might have originally perceived its own nature inherently worthy, perhaps.
Wow. From guilty sinner to archetype of selfhood and honor, that's a complete 180. And Eve, often blamed for everything. How does she fit into this linguistic picture?
Eve is seen differently too, not as the weak temptress, but as embodying the receptive and, crucially, the generative principle of language.
Receptive and generative.
How? Her action, taking the Olma, the apple offering, isn't rebellion. It's seen as active participation in the unfolding of language and knowledge. She's the one who interacts with the offering, bridging that Olma concept. the condition of offering, with receiving.
So she's not the transgressor, but a vital participant.
An active, essential participant in how meaning is generated and received through language. She completes the circuit in a way.
This loops back to that idea of control you mentioned earlier.
Mm-hmm.
If Adam and Eve weren't originally about guilt, but about honor, selfhood, participation,
then reshaping their story into one of inherent sin becomes a powerful tool.
how so?
If you convince people they are fundamentally flawed, born guilty, it undermines their confidence, their intrinsic motivation. It can, as you said, break their spirit, makes them look outwards for validation, for forgiveness, for authority, rather than trusting their inner knowing or potential.
It really shifts the power dynamic towards institutions that offer that external absolution.
Precisely. And there's one more element the theory highlights, one often missed in standard takes on the story.
What's that?
Water.
Water. I don't usually associate water strongly with the Adam and Eve story itself, more the garden setting.
Exactly. It's often just background. But in the Odam-Tilly allegory, water is vital. It symbolizes continuity, renewal, the very flow of language.
The flow of language, like a river.
That's a great analogy. Think how rivers shape civilizations, carry trade, connect people. Language does that too, doesn't it? It flows through time, shaping our collective consciousness. It's arguably more fundamental than any static law written down.
So language is this continuous current.
Yes, carrying cultural memory, knowledge, identity across generations, unbroken. So water, in this linguistic interpretation, becomes the archetype of that flow, that continuity, collective memory, the lifeblood of our shared inheritance through speech.
Okay, putting it all together. This Odam-Tilly theory paints a really cohesive picture. These elements, Adam, Eve, the snake, the apple tree, water, they're not just characters and props in a drama about sin.
No, they become profound archetypes of language itself.
Let's recap that. Adam, or Odam.
Identity, selfhood, inherent honor.
Eve.
Receptivity, active, generative participation in language.
The snake. Oh.
Knowledge, wisdom, and its crucial dual potential, creative or destructive.
The apple trioma.
Offering, timing, the conditions of interaction, and fundamental human need.
And water.
Flow, continuity, the stream of collective memory carried by language.
So the theory posits that this whole narrative originally encoded the sacredness of language as like humanity's first religion.
That's the core argument. Language as the primary way humans understood their world, their place in it, its inherent power, not a set of rules from outside, but the system within which we exist and create meaning.
But then it was changed.
Deliberately reshaped, the theory contends, into that myth of sinfulness we discussed. Transformed, essentially, for control.
To break human confidence by teaching inherent guilt.
Exactly. Undermine that sense of inner worth, make people feel flawed from birth, dependent on external systems for redemption, a fundamental shift in power.
So the implication is, if we understand this original linguistic meaning,
we can potentially reclaim a different inheritance, not one of sin, but one where language itself is recognized as this powerful, primary, almost sacred aspect of our being. A tool for understanding, not a story of failure. It's about recognizing the inherent power within language and, by extension, within ourselves.
Wow, okay, so
Yeah.
thinking about all this,
Yeah.
what does it mean for you listening right now? This deep dive shows how drastically a foundational story like Adam and Eve can shift from sin to a complex language allegory.
It really underscores the power of interpretation, doesn't it? And how critical thinking, especially looking at language, can challenge beliefs we've held for a long, long time.
Absolutely. It shows how the way stories are framed shapes our whole understanding of ourselves, our origins, our potential.
The narrative we accept defines so much.
So here's something to think about. If this huge foundational myth can be so radically reread through language, uncovering potentially a more empowering meaning, what else?
Right. What other stories, what other beliefs, even the personal narratives you've inherited about yourself or your family or your culture?
Could they also hold hidden linguistic truths? Perhaps more empowering ones than you've been led to believe.
How might digging into the language, the original framing, change your understanding of the narratives that shape your life?
That's definitely something worth exploring further.